To my YouTube real estate channel. Today I would like to talk to you about the new rental restriction for properties located in homeowners associations. So it's important whether you are a buyer or whether you are a seller, and let me explain to you why. So first I would like to give you what I thought was a very good, simple, self-explanatory definition of rental cap. So, rental cap I usually define as restriction to place a cap or ceiling on the number of properties that may be rented out at any one time within a homeowner association. Once the cap is reached, that means that no further property may be rented out, and what is going to happen is that most likely the owners who own this kind of property will have to be on a waiting list to be able to rent them. So, working in Santa Clara County, what I've seen is a lot of between 25 and 30% rental prohibition, but, shall I say again, we still have HOA that do not authorize rental. So, why is that so important? So let me explain to you, as a real estate agent, how things works for me. If I have a listing, so I do represent a seller in a homeowners association, one of the first things that I will do is check if there is a rental cap and what is the status of this rental cap. Let me explain to you why. That's pretty simple. A rental prohibition is considered a material fact that needs to be disclosed to the potential buyers. So not only my client, the seller, will have to disclose the rental cap, but they will also have to give something in writing explaining the prohibition. So that's things number one. And why you don't want to play stupid and not do this? It's because you do not inform your buyer, and then they want to rent. Well, you are in mayhem. And to put it in a more nicely way, you need to disclose, because simply if people would have had this information, they might not have bought your condo. So that's exactly the kind of situation where I don't want me or my client to be. The second thing is I do represent a buyer. Okay, so you're going to tell me what is the point to put a buyer in a car, show them a condo or a townhouse, and then after that you discover that there is a rental restriction, and if this person were to buy this condo, they would be on a waiting list. I do not think that's the most efficient thing to do. Okay, so now let's talk about this new legislation, and I'm going to read that to you because, again, I think it's concise and self-explanatory. So, Assembly Bill 31A2 says, starting January 2021, common interest development, aka HOAs, are required, so that's mandatory, to allow at least 25% of owners to rent or lease out their unit, regardless, and that's important too, of whether the HOA has formally amended their governing documents. So, all associations are required to comply with these changes by January 1st, 2021, and all governing documents are to be amended in compliance no later than December 31st, 2021. Let's make it simple. Right now, you own a property in a HOA that has a 10% rental cap. You want to buy, and the buyer wants to eventually rent. Don't say, oh, sorry, we have a 10% rental cap, because the law applies starting January 1, 2021. And as it says, it doesn't matter, okay, regardless, which is it doesn't matter of whether or not the HOA has amended the governing documents. So, in another word, now when I put a buyer in a car, or when I represent a seller who actually has a unit in a HOA, I'm going to go and pick this information make sure I understand how it applies to be able to disclose. All right, so one of the things that this law didn't change is the short-term rental. If you have a provision that says that there are no short-term rentals allowed, which is usually less than 30 days, in that case, there's no need to change anything. So here it is. You know it all, or almost, I hope, and I hope this helped. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Technical issues. These things happen, but I'm going to try to make it work anyway. Thank you.